Okie dokie. We are going to get started so that we have enough time. And since that you all are so chatty, I expect you to be so interactive with us, right? Yes, Stacy, we're so excited about exercise. Yes, you're all super excited. We had a clap. One clap I consider a win. Yep, and Tony gave us hearts. Yes, okay. This is the energy I am looking for, people. Okay. Now that we're ready, so I'm going to be, we're doing our panel that we talked about. So this is Excise, a state agency collaborative. So we wanted to try and present Excise from a 3-agency perspective, because how many of you, when you guys have an excise question, you kind of go, I have an excise question, but is it BMV, is it state comptroller, or is it state board of accounts? Right? Okay. So then do you just type up an email and send it to all agencies at the same time, or separate emails? And then we're all going, what question are they asking? So that's kind of what we're going to try and do. So do you guys want me to introduce you, or would you guys like to introduce yourselves?
Oh, this will be interesting.
Oh.
How would you introduce us?
Well, I'm State Board of Accounts. I'm Stacy Burns. I am one of the county directors. I'm going to go last in this presentation, but we're going to start with Tamitha Cooper. She is over at BMV. Give it up for Tamitha. How many of you already contact Tamitha? Probably some of you. And if you don't, after this presentation, you might, okay? And then I don't know who's sitting next to me. Do we know him? Do we know him? Do we love him? He's our favorite. This is Fred Van Dorp. He is with the State Comptroller's Office, okay, not DLGF anymore, so you can ask him all the excise questions you would like. And he has to answer you, right? No. Yes, he does. Ricky's shaking her head. Yes, he has to. So we're going to start with Tamitha. The way that this is going to work is we're going to give you guys a brief summary of what our agency does during the excise process, so that you guys can there is no presentation, so you just have to listen to our beautiful voices, okay? But what we want you guys to do is go, okay, this is how it starts, this is how the money moves, this is how I put it into the ledger, okay? So we're gonna go through that process, and then the fun part happens. And when I say fun, do you guys get scared? Like a little nervous, because you're like, what are you going to make us do? Fred's a little scared because he has no idea what I'm going to say right now. The fun part is Fred's going to do jumping jacks. No, I'm just kidding. The fun part is where we came up with some questions. We're going to kind of ask some questions, but if you guys have questions, we want you to ask them immediately. We want to know what your excise questions are and where they are in the process, okay? This is what this is designed to do. So we want you, after we talk about what our agencies do with the process, we want you to stop and ask us the questions. What's the first one that comes to mind? What's something that's going on in your county, okay? So we want you to guys be very interactive. This will make it more fun. I'll just use air quotes, okay? My fun is different than your fun, okay? This is fun for me, okay? So this is the type of fun we're going to have. So Tamitha, I'm going to let you take it away.
Thank you. Good morning. I am Tamitha Cooper with the BMV. A lot of you I've talked to on the phone. I haven't gotten to meet you face to face, so I'm really grateful to be able to be part of this today. As far as the BMV is concerned, we are taking in funds on a daily basis and then distributing those funds back out to you for state excise, county excise, and wheel taxes. Those funds come out to you in reporting. We do a distribution and a report every single day. Also, additionally, at the end of the month, we have watercraft distributions that you also get in a report. Those distributions come through the comptroller's office and are usually distributed approximately a month after the funds have been collected by BMV. One of the things to pay attention to is our funds are 14 days behind. So if we took in money on the 1st, the 15th is when we're actually distributing the money for the 1st to you. So it's usually about 15 days after the process that you are able to reconcile for the month, the previous month. One of the issues that I know we run into a lot is everybody's trying to figure out how do we get access to the FTP site. I know there's a constant struggle too with passwords, trying to get a password reset. Always you can email me. That's not a problem. We will also there's a phone number and a actual new website we're trying to move to Go Anywhere, which is like an online service instead of through FileZilla, so that you guys can go and get your reports and not have to wait on us. But always you can email us and we can help with those kind of situations. And then the last thing is, I know excise tax cut, and you will see those amounts on your reports every day. And then those are actually distributed and dealt with by the comptroller's office.
Okay. Morning, everyone. So from the comptroller's perspective, we've got a couple different times where we interact with excise. The big one is definitely in the settlement. This presentation is kind of built on the regional meetings, quarterly quadrant meetings that we did early in the cycle, or earlier this year. On the screen is a chart that's posted on our website. We know one of the challenges with excise is that when we talk about it, we're not talking about one thing. There are 10 different excises that are being collected and distributed by the state. One of the things that the graph one of the things that the handout shows, or what the slide shows, is which agency is initiating those payments, whether it be BMV, the Department of Revenue, or the Comptroller's Office, which helps to sort of direct traffic, like where that money is coming from. We want to make sure that if it's a DOR-centric distribution, we're routing that to the Daniel Lavenbergs of the world versus a BMV, that BMV collected excises that we can route to the Tamitha. As always, code citation is important so you can see where we are getting our instructions, why we are treating excise the way that we are. The source material, I think, was a smart inclusion to this particular report because, well, when the Department of Revenue is doing their distributions, they're going to email information to you versus BMV that's going to put that source material out on the FTP site for you to draw down. Because there are so many different types of excise, including the distribution schedule, whether it be quarterly or monthly, gives you a sense that while you have gotten into the rhythm of receiving some of these on a daily basis, gives you a sense of how often you're going to be receiving those distributions. Those last two almost want to highlight I should have printed off a color version. While they're all labeled excise, while it's all being sent to the county auditor's office as a conduit for getting to a local level, only 8 of them are going to go through the settlement process. And so while Surtax and the CVET have a different distribution mechanisms, one of the things that we see from settlement, one of the issues we see in settlement from time to time is that all the excise goes into one place, and these bottom 2 get commingled with the other 8 that go along with it. The final column is interesting, of whether or not those particular excises contribute to the amount that is remitted back to the state, right? So while most of the excise money is sent and stays at a local level, this one is a bit of a cheat sheet, letting you know whether or not some of those dollars are remitted back up to the state that sent you the money in the first place, or whether or not 100% of those distributions are going to work their way through or whether or not all those distributions are going to stay at a local level. Okay. Now, while property tax annually for the state is about $10 billion, excise is not so bad, sitting there at about $400 million. So it's a lot of money that is moving at a local level. But excise comes with some additional complexity. If we think about property tax for a while, when I pay my bill, you know both what property is associated with it, you know, and by extension, you know what taxing district it already sits in, you know which units of local government are going to receive the money that I'm paying in taxes. Excise requires a translation. The source material that the BMV is providing helps to identify where that car is parked or where the owner of that car lives to make sure that the excise dollars are routed to the correct local government units. There are also some differences between property tax and excise in the rates that are used for the distribution. So as you are working with our office during settlement, while we are using tax rates that have been provided by the state, where property tax is going to use the DLGF circuit breaker adjusted rates, it is for the excise that we're just using the traditional certified rates. And so as you are interacting with our office, that's part of the reason why we've got those separated into two different groups. We're going to check the math to make sure that the distributions are following the correct versions of the rates that are provided by the state. The rates are coming from the same place, but two different revenue sources are using different tax rates in the distribution. The last section that we're going to talk about is, while the money is largely being initiated by the BMV or the Department of Revenue, during the settlement process, there's a portion of it where the money is remitted back to the state. And while it is sent to the comptroller's office, it is not kept by the comptroller's office. And so as you go through your settlement, we will send you that pre-approval notification. It explains that we've reviewed the forms. We've checked the math. We have found that it is consistently, the amounts you've reported are consistently found across different forms. We've reconciled against what the county treasurer has provided. That will initiate our pre-approval notification, lets you know that we are ready to begin the distributions, or you are ready to begin the distributions to the locals. But to receive the final approval, to put a bookend on the process itself, there's the excise remittance that comes back to the state. We have worked to expand the pre-approval notification to let you know, based on the forms you've provided, this is the amount of money that needs to come back to the state. So the last place where the comptroller's office is going to be interacting with excise will be when the locals remit that portion of the semi-annual collection back to our office. Okay. With that in mind, I'll turn it over to Board of Accounts for more rules that govern the process in general.
Well, thank you. I know you guys were excited, right? Can't wait. So whenever it comes from a state Board of Accounts perspective, we're looking at what you guys are recording on your ledgers. So we don't deal with the distribution. We don't help reconcile that. We're looking at what you are recording on your ledgers. So whenever you stop and think about State Board of Accounts, we're making sure what you are reporting on your financial statements is materially correct. So how many of you during our last audit cycle had more questions about settlement? Were there some out there? Okay, so there were questions about settlement, and again, this all goes back to our quadrant meetings. We were talking about, hey, we are pushing the FEs. We are going to do different type of testing for settlement this year because, again, settlement is huge, but you have to step back and say, okay, settlement, property taxes, but there is a small portion in there, and small for you guys because it's not your biggest portion of settlement. It is a very small portion, but we need it to make the whole settlement picture, okay? So from a State Board of Accounts perspective, we're saying what you guys are recording in your ledgers is materially correct to your financial statements. Do the numbers tick and tie? Did we post something incorrectly? Was there a timing issue? These are typically the questions that our agency would address and something that RFEs might ask you during audit. And so again, to go back to the differences that we did this year with settlement testing, we partnered with the BMV to get access to the FTP site so we could get reports from BMV so we could perform a substantive analytical. So we are trying to make sure substantively, do the numbers for settlement look materially correct? So we're doing a test on this. We're doing an analytical, looking at prior years, comparing to current years, seeing what you're reporting and saying, okay, does there appear to be something missing or does this materially look correct, okay? And sometimes some of the issues that we would find during audit is, let's say you have money left over. Did you not distribute your excise? Or is it just sitting with the treasurer? So these are sometimes the things where you guys will come to us and say, from a State Board of Account perspective, we'll jump in and go, okay, you have money that's been sitting there. What do I do with it? Where do we go? And so it might prompt you guys to ask more questions. And those would be typically the questions that FEs could ask you during audit. So your field examiners, if they're doing testing and we're off and we're like, we feel like the issues with excise, then maybe it is a timing issue. Maybe something wasn't reported correctly. So that's kind of where State Board of Accounts will jump in. We'll look at those and say, okay, what is missing from that perspective? So we're kind of the bookend in this sense. We're looking and seeing what you reported, is it correct, and go from there if it's not. So that's kind of the beginning. After hearing all of that, do we have any questions that are on the top of your head that you're like, I want to start this? Oh, look, we have two. Ricky, over here. Right here. Because I made them up, Ricky. They're not really raising their hands, no.
It's who to contact for the BMV and the controller, but who do we contact for the Department of Revenue?
Hold on. It's not as easy as a couple of slides, okay? One moment. Okay, this is our contact, and here is for everybody else, right? Do we have a BMV contact on here, Tamitha? Is it on the other side?
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Oh, so it's Stacy. No, Stacy is not the deal.
No, so this one has the BMV, which is Tamitha up here. We've got Stacy up here, and we have Fred up here. Stacy, if you go to the other one, because she wants the contact for DOR.
There you go. That's that slide.
DOR. So those are all the different. So, it looks like Yusuf is the main. Wait, no, sorry. Frank is the main one, and then Amber does the wheel and surtax.
And I will get these posted on the website. So if you don't write it down correctly, I will get them posted right under. I think the only presentation material I posted for this one was the handy dandy chart that is on the state comptroller's website, but I will get those slides posted so you have them, okay?
Still have a question?
So what do you consider heavy equipment? We've never gotten any in our county.
Can't hear her.
Okay.
What do you consider heavy equipment? They have never received it in their county. Heavy equipment rental. Thank you.
16 and heavier. Yes. All right, so for heavy equipment, you're looking at 16,000 pounds or higher. So your semi-trucks, your dump trucks, all of those. But what you're probably seeing is the majority of the heavy equipment today is no longer ran through BMV. We're still running some, but the majority of the taxes that you're getting from that is coming from DOR.
We've never gotten.
They've never received any, but they have a rental company that's in their county. And so that's what we've never gotten anything from them. So what is considered? They rent out tow motors and that kind of stuff.
But they're rental vehicles. They're not so they're rentals. So they're probably running their taxes through the rental excise tax instead of an official heavy equipment tax. Is probably what you're seeing. And again, that's coming through from DOR. Does that help?
Yeah, we just don't get it.
Yeah, she was just questioning. Just wanted to know. She was just wondering.
Yeah.
Oh, I got one. Hold on. All right, just so you know, I want 10,000 steps by the end of today.
Are they ever going to have a breakdown for the vehicle sharing? Because we always get a lump sum, and then it's our determination to put wherever we think it's going to go.
Yeah. I don't know the answer to that. It's largely a DOR question. It's largely a question for DOR. What we are familiar with is that for the innkeeper's tax, there was something similar, right? Where the Airbnb, long story short, wasn't releasing the specific numbers of the specific properties that were in. They were remitting money to the state. The state was able to make that distribution. They knew where it was coming from. They didn't get the details that went along with it. Would trustee or would have more information about what they're collecting, who they're collecting it from, based on what's been remitted to them and what they're able to collect from the various companies that do vehicle sharing. But we also know that is a relatively new excise that has been added. I imagine that's going to continue to grow over time. It's just one of those that still feels relatively young as a revenue source that's coming into the locals. Anybody on the far side have a question that you could ask to make Ricky run to that side of the auditorium?
I'm walking over here because I saw somebody, but then I'm like, she's not holding her hand up anymore. So like,
All right.
anybody have a question?
Okay. So while you think, we have each sort of staged questions that we get that we can use to just sort of start the dialogue or start the conversation of excise questions that have come in. Tamtha, you want to lead us off?
Sure. Okay, so some of the biggest questions that I'm getting on a regular basis, obviously the FTP site is a big deal. I was talking earlier, we're in the process of changing from the traditional WinZip program, and I know a lot of you use FileZilla, to an online Go Anywhere, so you can go out anytime. You don't have to be at your computer at work. You could be on a laptop somewhere and be able to hit that website and pull down files if you need to work with them. As we are switching over to that, a lot of people still haven't updated their access to the Go Anywhere. So any of you that are interested in no longer using the WinZip program and want to be able to access the Go Anywhere program, please feel free to email me and we can get that switched over. It's also making most of the people that, I'm not going to say all, but a lot of the people that have moved over to Go Anywhere, password issues are always a big deal. They have on Go Anywhere a readily easy, reset for a password that some of the others didn't work very well. Usually you had to call in, you had to get a hold of me. So it's just some things that could help make it a little bit easier for you to get the information that you need and not have to wait on somebody. Bank account information. And I know the auditors, usually that's a treasurer thing, but the auditors are also involved in that. We've had a couple of counties where they want to know, who do I send information to when I'm changing my bank account for excise? So again, that's as simple as sending me an email, but also knowing who all you need to get a hold of when you're dealing with excise. So comptroller's office, you have to do a W-9 and a direct deposit form to send over, but you also have to send that direct deposit to BMV because we distribute separately outside of the comptroller's office for your excise. But it will always start with an email to me, and then expect a phone call. I'm going to follow up with you to make sure that this information is legitimate, and you're going to be asked for old bank account information, new bank account information, but I'm going to be calling based on contact information I have. Again, it's to keep fraud down. We've had some vendors through our Trust Plate program that people had tried to change information on. So, and reporting. As we were talking through, I know there was a couple of counties that I've spoke with recently where they came in and there's this balance on the books from excise that the BMV distributed, and they're like, I don't know what to do with this. We keep 60 days worth of reports out on the FTP site. If you need ones older than that, have them. Please send me an email, give me a call. We'll figure it out. We'll work it out. But I have those available if you need them. Whatever we can do to help you get those amounts figured out so that you can get them distributed and not have to hold them on the books and just be done, give us a call. We'll see what we can do to help. Yeah.
I know you guys missed me talking, so I just wanted to talk. So you guys might be going, why would I need older reports? This is where you guys might go, okay, maybe you have money that is either the treasurer has it on the cash book and it hasn't been distributed, or it went into the settlement fund and it never went out. So those older reports is what you will need to figure out when you received it and who it needs to go to. So you guys will have, like, so if you guys are wondering, like, why would I need that information? And I think, Tamitha, did you say it goes back to like 2009? Okay. So, I mean, we're talking about money that, again, you guys might have inherited some problems. And if you did, that is a very good resource where we would say, hey, you guys need to contact Tamitha, get those reports, circle back with us, and we can figure it out. Okay, so I just wanted to weigh in on that.
Yeah, I'll jump in on that one also. So I'm hearing you correctly. If during the excise process, during the settlement process, I've identified an previously unidentified amount, I can't just send it out the door?
Don't do that. Don't do that. Because you need to figure out where it goes. Okay, so we need to confirm, because the question is, one of the very first ones we're going to, because you guys will, this is how a typical email goes, okay? This is not criticizing anybody, but you guys go, hey, I have money. It's sitting here. What do I do with it? And we go, what kind of money? So that's the first question I'm going to ask you is, what kind of money are we talking about? And then if you send me like a very generic, like it's excise, and then I'm going to go, how long have you been carrying it? So whenever you guys identify these problems, just go through and say, they're going to ask me more questions. I'm going to give me the background. I want all the details, okay? Because all the details help you guys figure out what type of money it is. You figured out how long you've been carrying it. You verified that that amount hasn't changed. So in theory, you could have something where you're distributing and you're just still carrying something. And if that is happening, then we got to go, okay, we need to go all the way back to figure out, when did the money appear? You know, it's like, oh, surprise, like magician themed, ta-da, money, okay? So we just need to go back and figure out when. So Tamitha is a really good resource to go back and get those reports. When you've identified when it appeared, then you can know who it needs to go to. Again, it might also be, I'm going to throw internal controls in there. If the money is just sitting there, are we making sure that the money is going out? What is our process over that? So we might need to step back and go, again, someone could have taken office and not known what to do with it. That's okay. But if you guys are in there, we want you to leave it better than you found it. And let's find out where that money needs to go to get it out. It makes your guys' books cleaner. It makes your life easier, okay? And then you get gold stars from all of us. We'll be like, gold star.
Thank you for that. Admittedly, it's a bit of a blind spot when it comes time for settlement. While that money, once identified, will go through the settlement procedures, we don't have that level of detail, or we're not collecting that level of detail to confirm that the correct funds are being used, that the correct funds are being transferred before the distribution. So the fine folks on my left and right will help to identify it, which then would make it eligible, would then give it the green light to start to go through the settlement process to ultimately get off your books and to make it to those the correct local government units. You got another one? All right. I'll take one. All right. So one of the things we get from time to time is, when should the county make its remittance to the state? When will the state receive its portion of the excise? And the request here is to wait until that pre-approval notification. While the settlements have been increasingly cleaner over the last few cycles, waiting for that green light from our office to request it will be important. It will make sure that in case there is a problem, we're not holding money that doesn't match with the amounts that are on the forms that you've provided us. So while we are confident that the number submitted on the first submission is the right number, hold off, wait until you receive that pre-approval notification from Janie. It'll restate the numbers that have come directly from your forms, but that'll be the green light to send it to our office. Along those lines, one of those questions is, if the state is sending me excise, why am I sending a portion back to the state? It's a fair question. Now, the process while many of the columns are hidden on the spreadsheet, while the state knows that it's going to go to your county, there's a portion of the settlement process that lets us know both which taxing district the excise is tied to, which then determines which portion is going to come back to the state. While the state may get 1% from taxing district number 1, it might get 1.5% from taxing district number 2. So it has to go down to a local level for that calculation to be finalized before it comes back to the state. It does feel weird that there's this back and forth, but just built right into the process. You take one?
Oh. Let's see, what questions do I have? How many of you work super closely with your treasurer to figure out if there is remaining funds? Okay, you should all raise your hands. Fred did say, yeah, there we go. Okay, thank you guys. Because remember, your treasurer, they're holding the excise on the cash book until settlement whenever they're pushing it over to you, okay? So you don't know what's in there until it comes over. So we need to make sure that we're working closely with the treasurer, making sure both offices are reconciling, right? Raise of hands, you guys are all reconciling excise and ticking and tying, and it's perfect. I think one of the other questions that sometimes we get is access to the FTP site that I wanted to touch back on, because Tamitha, correct, it's one person from the treasurer's office should have access and one person from the auditor's office should have access. So if for some reason both are taken by the auditor's office, your treasurer needs to have access to that. So let's just make sure that we give them access, because they need to reconcile what they're holding on the cash book, as well as you guys need to be reconciling what's coming in, okay? Does anyone have any other questions? Are our wheels spinning and going, do I have anything? Like, is it a common question you guys ask? Like, does the treasurer ever come over and go, hey, I have something for excise that's been sitting here? I mean, because it's a question that really we need to be asking, like, did everything come over during settlement? So I want to encourage you guys to have that conversation, open that communication with your treasurer, and make sure that, again, we're getting everything distributed and we know what it is. Do you have another one, Fred?
No, but I do have 30 minutes that I still need to fill.
Hey, it's not 30 minutes, okay? It's only 23.
Well,
You guys have questions.
we do.
You guys have questions, okay? Come on, ask them.
Does the Go Anywhere website have the text files?
Yes, it will have both. It has the PDFs and the text files. And it's basically set up similar. It's just easier to be able to go online and not have to have your WinZip program to get it done. Mhm.
Okay. No?
No.
Okay. Did anyone inherit a balance that they needed to research that they're willing to share how they were able to get it resolved?
Ooh, that's a good question. Are we all too shy? Okay, Ricky's not above tapping you guys on the shoulder and making you ask a question. Do we need to do jumping jacks? Do you want to see Fred do jumping jacks?
Absolutely. I do have a question for you guys. How many in here so how many have had audits this year? How many noticed a change in the settlement testing? Right? Like you should have. Did they ask a lot more questions? Right? Remember I told you in May they're going to be coming and they're going to be asking you questions. I need you to help our field examiners get to know this process. Did they ask you anything about excise? I got some yeses. Okay. So they're going to be, luckily, Tamitha worked with me on this, and our agencies were able to enter into an agreement in order to share some information. So we're able to get what your BMV reports are, and we're working on that. We're going to give that to our field to have a starting point of what we think or what you should have collected in excise for the year. So when they come in for audit, and if you haven't been audited, just be prepared, they are going to ask for your reconcilements. So Stacy did say, right, at least monthly, you should be reconciling those excise. You need to provide those to the field examiners. They need to be able to see those. While we get provided the reports of what excise you are actually receiving, we want to look against your records, right? So the state is saying, I received this dollar amount. During the audit, we want to see that the county actually received that dollar amount, okay, as we move forward. So just be prepared for those questions as we're moving on. We're hoping to streamline the excise portion. It's a little bit harder to audit than settlement of itself with the property tax portion. So we are kind of tweaking that, and just be patient with our field examiners as they ask you the questions, okay? What? You're pointing a finger. You're like right behind me.
I don't actually have a question. I'm Diana Topping. I'm the Floyd County Auditor. I inherited carrying amounts when I became the Chief Deputy Treasurer in 21. We had, realistically, our excise hadn't balanced in over a decade. And it had kind of built up over that time frame. Obviously, it started out with a small amount, and then it just continued to go. I worked really closely with the tax manager in the auditor's office at the time, and Tamitha Cooper, who is an angel. And it was a lot of work. So making sure that you keep your excise balanced between those two offices and making sure that you're settling the right amount at each settlement is huge. I know it's such a small part of settlement, but cleaning up the mess afterwards, if you allow it to build, is absolutely insane. No, we've zeroed out every settlement since then.
Yeah, that's amazing.
But it took the whole year of 2021. I think fall settlement of 21 is when we finally zeroed out our carrying settlement, or carrying excise.
That's awesome. I do have a follow-up question for you. What is something you do differently now to make sure that that doesn't happen again? Like, what did you change in the process other than reconciling, obviously?
I'm not going to lie. It's the only thing I micromanage like crazy.
Okay. That's fair. Honestly, once you inherit a mess, it makes sense that you don't want it to ever happen again.
Pretty much.
Yeah. And remember, you guys, we don't reconcile, like from a State Board of Accounts perspective, we're not reconciling excise like you guys do. So you guys are an amazing resource among the association. So like whenever you guys have problems or you feel like your process maybe isn't working, I want to say, reach out to each other. Again, we have Diana. She basically just said that, hey, she's figured everything out. She knows what she's doing. We go right to you, right? No, I'm just kidding. But you guys are an amazing resource because it took a long time to figure it out. However, you figured it out, you zeroed it out, and now we're not having a problem going forward. So if you guys are in that situation and too scared maybe to speak up right now, talk to each other. We just want to encourage that.
I think I recall a time y'all talking about it not being part of the settlement process. Is that something y'all are still working towards, or it's always going to be a part of? I think it's the CVET and FIT.
Yeah, so with CVET, and we'll talk more about this at 1 o'clock, there's just a different distribution method for it. So while the other ones are being distributed using the certified tax rates, there's a different calculation, different recipients for CVET. So still goes to you, still goes out the door, just doesn't use the settlement as its calculation. Ditto with the wheel and surtax also. Still goes to you, still a distribution, it just uses a different format. So we keep it out of the group. If we were to commingle it, it still makes it to the local recipients, but instead of $100 going to the Johnson, instead of $100 going to Greenwood, maybe they only get $60. So included them on the sheet because they are excise, but excluding them from the sheet because they are not part of the traditional excise processes.
It's a little sensitive now, just FYI. Okay.
So my questions are probably really basic questions that an auditor should already know the answer to. But I stepped into this role a month ago, not having any government experience. So, oh, by the way, I'm Melissa Gray from Jackson County. This settlement process that you're talking about, that is separate from our fall settlement of property tax. So this has its own settlement.
The settlement will include both property tax and excise.
Okay. And these excise accounts they're like pass-through, right? So the money, we're receiving the deposit of the funds, and then those funds should all be distributed out to their units. Thanks.
Good one. He's
Okay.
speechless.
Yes and no.
Okay.
Eventually, they'll all be distributed, but there are cutoff dates. So unlike property tax, where, that's not a good example either. Eventually, it'll all be distributed. It's just there's some timing. Some of it will be distributed during this settlement. Some of it will be known, but will be included in the following settlement.
Okay.
Let's chat offline. I promise that answer makes a little bit more sense than I feel like it does.
Okay.
There's a little bit more nuance to it. But at a high level, yeah, excise comes in, gets accumulated, excise gets distributed. Next settlement, more excise is coming in daily, monthly, quarterly, goes through the settlement process. So it flows more frequently than the property tax does, with the 2 installments for property tax versus daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly distributions for some of these excise types.
Okay. And then our county is using Data Pit Stop. And I spoke to Darren, and he basically said there wasn't anything that I needed to do, that he manages all of that. Is that accurate information? Because, I mean, even if that's true, I want to be able to understand what I'm signing off on. But, like, how accurate is that information?
Sorry.
You asked for questions.
So Darren, Darren's very accurate and very good, but I mean, I have employees, right? And they do different tasks that I give them, but I still need to check their work. People need to check my work, right? So I think it's really important for you to be able to check his work. He's going to give you a report and be able to say, broken down by, here's your state excise, your SIR and wheel, and your lottery. But you should be able to spot check those. And I think, I may be remembering wrong, we already got you access to the website? Or you're getting?
I don't think I saw the email yet. And I may have it, it's just.
Okay. So, I think it's important for you to be able to have access and be able to look at that information and just double check, because programs go wrong. Things happen.
Right.
So I can be comfortable going, yeah, these tie out.
Okay. So then I can just do an audit of his work.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Yes. Trust but verify. Very good advice. All right, thank you.
Sorry, will you say that again? That last part.
Trust but verify.
Bingo. The program is a tool to facilitate the calculation, but it's just a tool, right? And so being able to talk about what goes in, what's coming out, so that you can explain, here's what's going on. The tax and billing vendors, the folks in this room in the back that assist are helping you with your position, but it's ultimately the elected official who's responsible for making sure that it's being done correctly. So it's worth it. While we trust them to be able to provide that service, an explanation often accompanies it so that they are explaining what they're doing and how they're verifying it.
Fred just stole all my thunder because it was all about internal controls. He just didn't say it. So again, you have fiscal responsibility over those financial statements. So again, yes, they are doing a lot of it, but it does come back to your responsibility since they are your financial statements. So reviewing his work is that review and approval that we talk about with internal control. So it's a very good thing to make sure your process has that in place.
My name is Alicia Pfeiffer, and I'm with Cass County, and newbie too. But this reconcilement, I don't think we have a problem. I know when they do settlements, the first deputy and my other little helper are pulling their hair out. But that reconcilement form, can we share that on our little club site for auditors?
That's the table of there.
Where was she? Yeah.
I don't think they're talking about
Yeah,
information
just
that
to,
they're doing off.
I don't, you know, sometimes you don't know you have a problem.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's true. I'm coming.
I thought I'm like a kink in my neck. Can't look back.
Mindy Byers, Montgomery County Auditor. I just wanted to jump on Diana's comment. The more I sit here, the more I just want to encourage people. If you are out of balance in excise, don't just keep ignoring it. I mean, we had an offage of about 25,000 when I started, and it was a point of contention for several settlements, and it would always hold up our settlement. You know, we would get in a lot of discussions about it. It was awful. It was awful, and I didn't want to tackle it. I'll just be honest. You know, the thing you don't understand very well, and you just don't want to touch, and you just kind of keep pushing it back and having the same fight every settlement. We finally kind of stopped that. Got into it, figured out that we couldn't figure it out, and we never did fully understand where it came from, but we had the same, we were told to make sure that it was the same amount for several settlements. So I think we had 3 or 4 settlements where we came to the same exact number, so we were sure that it was an actual offage and not just somebody doing something wrong. And then we were able to distribute with the help of everybody at the state, at the state level, trying to tell us how to do that. But anyway, since then, we have developed a spreadsheet, and we balance monthly with the treasurer, and where it was taking 2 to 3 weeks, literally every single settlement, and a lot of not nice words. It is down to like an hour process. It is so easy now, and I'm telling you, it sucked. It sucked so bad, but dig into it, get it done, and it will be a beauty when you're done. It's so easy. We don't even think about it now.
That's very good to hear.
Can't say it any better than that. So was that time?
Well, we got a few minutes, but I think as we're hearing from them, I'm going to walk back and talk at the same time. Wait a minute. I got one there and I got somebody pointing over here. But I think if you do have an issue, we really want to stress that you use us all, right? We will help you. We can't give you a one-off answer that will suit every single one, right? Because everybody's off for a different reason. All right. So we need to see and know your circumstances. So, call Tamitha. Right? Like, have the conversation, see what she can provide you as you're moving into settlement. Call Fred, Janie, have them, talk to them about what you can do. Once we kind of get stuff, come back to us. We'll tell you what we're looking for when you're going to post it and distribute it and things like that, and what it's going to look like on their records, okay? Now, did you have it? You were raising your hand.
More of a comment. Thank you. Just as a reminder, I know there's some new auditors out there. I was new at one time. Now I'm old. But there are forms available on all of the state websites. Use the resources that you have, DLGF, all of them, State Board of Accounts. Auditor's Manual is also out there to access and read. AIC has good information on each elected position and what their duties are. So there are resources out there that you can find, even if you have to use Google to get there. Just a reminder.
Thank you. I thought I saw another hand, but. Oh, she's pointing at It's like, where's Walter?
Jessica Timmy, Posey County. So we reconcile our
excise every month with the treasurer's office on our spreadsheet. Is there a reconciliation form that we should be filling out also, or just at settlement?
Like a form that we prescribe, or?
Yeah. I mean, is our
Yes.
spreadsheet sufficient that says we balanced every month?
No. So we're just looking, so during audit, Ricky keeps going like this and then this, and I'm going, what? So no.
So, yes, you have to do a form, is what I was telling, was yes, but no, we don't have a prescribed form. Okay? So your spreadsheet will work as long as it does a reconcile.
Because really what we're looking for is how you are reconciling. So it's, some people do cover sheets, some people do logs, some people do additional things to it. Sorry, I didn't understand your question initially, but there's no like real form. It was me, it wasn't you. It's okay.
I think it was me, because I was like.
Yeah, Ricky just bobbleheading it. So I was like, I have no idea what's happening. This is why they come to conference, is for this, okay? Gosh. We only have 4 minutes, and I know we need to change the view back to the podium. So do we have any last minute questions why I do that?
Going once,
Was it helpful?
going twice.
Sold. All right, give us just a few seconds. We've got to get it switched back here, and we're going to move you up to the podium.